go buy a Lambo. So that's
awesome. Yeah. I find that a lot of people, a lot of the gym owners that we talk to really underestimate how powerful this is, because they look at it as like, oh, I don't really just want to like hawk a bunch of products at my members. You know, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to provide training. And I understand where that sentiment is coming from. But here's what we also know is that people who get into any sort of a fitness program, especially people who are newer, right? So that you're less experienced or completely inexperienced members, you know, they come in, they sign up. And what do we see almost every time within the first 30 to 45 days of them being a member? They're either asking you about what supplements should I buy, or they just go to GNC and get sold a whole bunch of garbage. And they're like, check out what I got. I got this pre-workout. I got this post-workout. I got this protein. I got that. And they spent, you know, $100, $200 on crap. And you just spent all your time and energy, you know, helping them not just move right, but you probably had something about nutrition in your onboarding program. You're helping them get their food dialed in. Right. And it's an opportunity to really provide value and say, hey, look, I know that you're gonna go out and get this stuff, and it's probably a good idea that you have some good supplements, or it's, you know, we have some really cool swag or some, you know, whatever it may be. You can provide the things they're already going to go buy elsewhere, and now you can procure the good stuff and make sure they're not buying junk. And guess what? It benefits not just them, or not just you as a business owner, but them, because they don't have to go out and look and be sold and go through that whole rigmarole.
Right, exactly. So and not just the volume of stuff that's sold to a lot of times when a member gets started, but it really comes down to, you know, you used to own a gym. So when a member would start, you would know what their journey was going to be, what their process. Here's when you're going to hit that wall. Here's when you're going to hit the soreness. So in the back of your mind, if you have products that you can offer them when they're going to be ready for it, I mean, that's a great responsibility for you as the coach and the owner, as opposed to them trying to get them to buy a whole bunch of stuff when they first get started that they may not see benefit for. You've got that relationship with the members, whereas a retailer or supplement store at a you know, a clerk at a desk won't. So you can actually undersell them, but get them better results depending on the stage that they're in. So yeah, retail is a game changer for gyms once you get doing it. And I'm excited to kind of talk more about that as far as the different stages of retail.
So before we get into kind of like the step by steps on, you know, how to really begin selling retail, what are some of the things you hear from people who are kind of resistant to it? You know, they've like, I've tried retail and it didn't work, or, you know, anything of that. What do you feel are the reasons for that?
I mean, that's like saying I tried CrossFit and it didn't work.
Yeah, I've tried nutrition. It doesn't work.
Right, exactly. I worked out one time. It didn't work. It just comes down to intentionally focusing on it and making it part of your process. You can't just try something, and so I guess from the habit, that's one way to approach it. Another way is as a business and as an owner, if you go to your members and say, look, this is going to be an important part of our business moving forward, but you don't put any intention behind it. You don't ever order product. You keep one bottle sitting on your shelf. And so I want to pull back for just a second. The stuff that we'll be talking about today is pretty agnostic, not only the brand, but also the products. I'm hoping that the things that we'll talk about now will work for supplements, work for shirts, shoes, wrist wraps, whatever it is you want to sell. So I'm going to be biased, and I'm just in the habit of using the word supplements or creatine or protein or anything else. But the tactics, the approaches that we use are pretty universal. So.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, guys, this is not an opportunity to just sell supplements. These principles apply to all retail. Okay, and these are really important lessons to kind of take in, because, you know, some of the best marketing we can do, for example, is putting a basic branded T-shirt in a new member's hand when they sign up, so that they get used to wearing your stuff. And then now you've got the fancy stuff and the seasonal stuff that you use to launch quarterly and so on, that, you know, is a huge opportunity. So, you know, yeah, some of the things I've heard as to, you know, I've tried retail, it didn't work. You know, oftentimes it was really poor inventory management, right? So they just treated it very loosely. They had a lot of shrinkage, or, you know, they don't realize that, oh, hey, we're selling this stuff now. Yeah, coach, go ahead and grab a bag. I'm just going to grab a bag. This is a perk of selling retail. or selling these products that, I get free stuff. They don't realize that their order was so small that all of their margin was just chewed up in those 5 bags they just gave away to staff.
Right.
Which, not that's a bad thing, as I do think you definitely want your team using it, especially using it in front of members and whatnot, whatever it is. But really paying attention to the inventory management, and probably worst of all is just overall poor promotion. I think that ends up being the biggest missed opportunity in how they promote, rather than it being, where they're just like, yeah, it's, we've got some stuff over there if you want to check it out, but really putting some energy into it. And that's what I'm excited to get into with you today, because I know you've got some really good tips for people. So let's go ahead and jump right in, man. So walk us through a step-by-step on how we can really start selling retail, if, let's say, we're new to the game. Okay,
right on. So one thing that I'm going to put this over here on my screen. So we're just going through this step-by-step. If you haven't ever done retail, how do you get started? Or you could apply this in a class or a category of something that you haven't sold before. So let's rock and roll. The first one is buy a few products. Test your market. Don't poll your members. Don't post up, say, hey guys, we're thinking about trying some supplements. What do you think? I've got the quote on here. Henry Ford said, if I had asked people what they wanted, they would have told me a faster horse. So get out in front by example of a little bit of what it is you're going to recommend to them. And again, this goes for shirts, supplements, jump ropes, whatever it is you want to sell and offer. But put a little bit of skin in the game to begin with. So I tell affiliates that I onboard all the time, if you're going to ask your members, hi Missy. Sorry, squirrel. So I tell affiliate owners all the time, if you're going to ask your members to pay for something, put your money where your mouth is and you pay for it. You tell them, I bought these products to bring in to try. It's not, well, I talked to this company and I had them send me some samples. If you tell them up front, I paid for this product to see if it's something that's going to be a fit for our community, that means a lot. So go buy some of the products. The other thing that's going to do is that's going to tell you about that company's marketing approach. Are they going to? So if you get an email as a customer and you get an offer for 50% off, don't buy those products. So all you're doing is you're creating a customer. This is getting a little bit more advanced, but you're creating a customer for that company. So what is their marketing strategy? Are they going to go and compete and sell the products you're promoting in your gym to your members directly at your cost or less? So, yeah, that's a sledgehammer, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the other one is going on and doing a sampling day. By making it part of your community, you and your coaches can get involved together at the same time with the members. So instead of taking the tactic of, okay, I'm going to order some supplements, my coaches and me will try them. If we like them, then we'll roll it out to members. Bypass that step entirely. Without putting a ring on it, let your members know, guys, we're pumped to be giving these guys a try, these products. Stop in on Wednesday of next week. We'll be giving out some samples. And then as a community, you all taste it together. You may not like everything out there. Your members may not like everything out there. But by creating that genuine experience, you guys will be able to share in that, and your community will really decide or buy right there on the spot, which is what happens most of the time, the products you're wanting to bring to market to them.
So just to clarify, so let's say I'm as the gym owner, I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about selling this product. I should buy just enough for me to try and see if I like it first, and then go and place a little bit larger of an order to do a sampling? Or are you saying that I should be doing the sampling at the same time?
Yeah, the one and the same. So like with our products, for example, most of them are 30 to 50 day supplies. So you've got 50 servings in some of those. So order those in and taste it at the same time as the members.
Okay. So what exactly is that accomplishing?
Well, you're speeding up the process to market for a product. You're not just taking your bias, your taste buds, your palate, and whether or not it's a good fit. But you're being very open and candid with your members. You're putting your heart on the line and saying, guys, I'm going to bring some of these products in. I'm going to let you try them. We'll be trying them all at the same time. So you'll know exactly what I think about these products. At the same time, we'll be finding out what each other think.
Awesome. I like that. That's a transparent marketing approach, right? So we do this together rather than I'm going to do it and I'm going to pick for you. Doing it collectively as a tribe is going to have a totally different impact.
Right.
Awesome.
Well, and to that point, if your members already see you as a leader, they're going to be influenced initially by your basic recommendation of I'm bringing this in. They're trusting that you've already done your due diligence. So when you introduce it, you can say, I've heard nothing but good things from other affiliate owners and other customers of this company. I look forward to trying it myself, as well as sharing this experience with you.
Awesome. Cool. What's the next step?
So use that tasting day to sell product. Cool, Abigail. So use that tasting day as an opportunity to pre-sell product and get things moving. So you can preemptively say that as when people come in. So let's say it's Wednesday now and we're hanging out at Marcus's gym. Marcus makes a post up on social media, says, hey guys, the Eagle has landed. Come and get your samples before we run out. By the way, we'll have a pre-sale sheet at the front desk. So then that way people can raise their hand and call, make sure to get me a 2-pound chocolate when you do order. So you're not just making that process transparent, but you're also giving them the opportunity to buy without asking them to buy.
Okay, nice. I like that.
It never fails when, if Marcus and I are lifting buddies, I'm going to see Marcus go and get a 2-pound thing of creatine and protein. I'm going to get pissed off and I'm going to think that Marcus is going to start smashing my gains. So I'm going to have to go and get the same thing that you get, right? So that tasting party really brings the entire community together and your members become your salespeople.
100%. That's what you want. Awesome. What's next?
So next, we've done our tasting party. We've got the products. Everybody is ecstatic. We've got cheerleaders all over the place, sneezing all over each other with how great, the caramel latte is, the pre-water jump rope. So we're not being biased only to driven. I'm sorry. I told you this habit would kick in. So you post up on social media, something to the effect of, wow, guys, the response has been great. Thank you all of your support. We'll be placing the first order for these products tomorrow at 1 p.m. So you don't want to just say, hey, great guys, thanks, we're getting it on the way. You want to give them one more opportunity to order, right? So by posting up and saying, hit us up. So what I've got here is, so please call, text, or even Pony Express your order before 1 o'clock tomorrow. We appreciate everybody's support.
Right, so finite and create an urgency.
Right, exactly, correct.
So you're treating this now as legitimately as a launch. Right, you've introduced it. We all agreed, hey, this stuff was pretty damn good, and hey, the feedback has been amazing. We're placing an order, and we've already got orders in, but we're putting a cutoff tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So if you want to get in now.
Right. So this goes back to your question. Why do it in front of everybody beyond just the transparency? But think about this. So if you ordered today, your product's going to be there in California on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. So from a timeline standpoint, if you and your coaches were doing secretly behind closed doors and trying it at home, you're probably not going to make a decision until Thursday, even to express it in interest to your members. So you're bypassing that. You're onboarding these guys and onboarding the products like that at the same time that you're moving with it. And at the same time, you haven't put a ring on it. So if everybody says, no, this tastes like piss, don't order it. Hey guys, thanks for your feedback. We'll try again.
Right.
Because you'll try products that people won't like.
Got it. Okay, so now we've got the urgency created, right? Let us know. Don't miss out. Right. What happens next?
All right. So now things start getting fun. When you place the order, it's important for you as a gym owner to not put the profit in your pocket. Okay, if you're running at a good enough margin, our products are 50-55% profit margin. So if you're running at a strong margin and you're able to double your money every time you order, you should be able to order every one product you sold. So now when Marcus does get the protein and the creatine, but I forgot to order it, when that product lands, you're going to post it up, announce it, and I'm going to see, because Marcus has tagged in the product, so I'm going to get pissed thinking he's going to get these crazy gains, and I'm going to go up to the gym. Yeah, no doubt. So I'm going to go up to the gym owner and say, hey, hook me up with the Marcus stack. So now, if you've got a good enough profit, when you place that first order, make sure to double up on those. So you're not taking the profit out, because then even if you didn't have the product sold right when it lands, if you take the profit out every time, every month, every week, you have to start over. So that goes back to your comment. You know, we have members, or we have some owners that say, I've tried retail, it hasn't worked. Well, that's how it doesn't work. You order product, you get it sold, and then you have to start from zero every single time.
Right. Yeah. We don't have money for retail. It's like, if you've sold any retail, you should have more money for more retail, right? It's like you're taking a certain part of your business and not treating it like a business. Oh, we sold that. Now we just keep the money. We go spend it on something else, rather than saying, hey, that worked really well. Let's do more of that. And let's start to snowball that revenue and be able to purchase more product, and actually create a buffer of cash that you can now have for purchasing, for investing in other lines of retail. Yeah, big opportunity missed if you don't take that approach.
Yeah, and you got to do it. You got to do it early. And you know, to your point of increasing those, everybody always asks, well, how do I know how much is much? You don't. It's just like putting weight on a bar when you're squatting. You gotta go to failure. You gotta go to the point where you have too much. And it's important. This is a very important point, because you haven't built the cash that's sitting on those shelves. Even though if it's a lot, that's profit. That's not money you invested. That's not an investment. But if you do need to open that tap up a little bit from retail, just stop ordering for 2 to 3 weeks. You know, you go up on a squat bar. Once you hit your failure point, you go and you pull those 5s off, and then you know what your PR is at that point, or what I call par value. Well, I don't call it that. Restaurant industry calls it that, but
call it what?
It's called a par value.
Okay.
You start understanding what, as time goes on, this gets a little bit more advanced as you've been doing retail for a while. But as time goes on, you know what your natural float is. You know how much is too much.
Right.
To have, you know, 2-pound banana. You know that you only have a couple members, so you don't need more than 2 of those. So establishing what that par value is, and restaurant industries use this to know, you know, on Friday, how many things of, you know, tomato paste do they need to order? It's the same concept.
Right. You start getting a temperature on what the average is to order.
Right.
So it becomes a little bit more predictable, right? So you don't know where the ceiling is until you find it. So find it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So let's rewind here. So we tested the product. We did the sampling day. We created some scarcity. We now at this point are using the profit to purchase more product. Right. Now, what's the next step in promoting this?
All right. The next step is when you get notice that the order is shipped, announce it. So now we're on to Thursday. So the order ships on Thursday, maybe Friday. So you're going to announce it up, and then you're going to tag Marcus in that post. Hey, Marcus, and everybody else who pre-ordered, thank you so much for your support. We just got notice that the order is shipped. Now, in our case, we'll actually send a picture of the photo. A picture of the photo, a picture of the actual order. We'll send that when the order ships. So if you get if all you get is a shipping notice, screenshot that, post it up, and then start tagging the members. Then it'll show up on everybody's feed and let people know that you'll be making the announcement when the product lands.
Mm-hmm.
Then
brilliant.
Yep. Then from there, the next step is the product lands. So now it's Tuesday of the following week, and the product lands. I'm going to take one more picture of it. I'm going to put it in our organism's natural environment, which is the gym where they're used to seeing stuff and what they do. So you tag it up, you post it, and then I tag Marcus again on the creatine and the protein and say, the Eagle has landed, come and get it. Stop by the front desk. We'll have sticky notes on everybody's product. So this is where you get an opportunity to sell again. And you mentioned, I do have the packing slip at the front desk, and we have a few flavors of product available. So make sure to stop by the front desk if you didn't get on the order. We do have some more products available. So then that way you're encouraging dialogue instead of asking people to come buy it. You're encouraging dialogue for them to come and talk to you about it.
Right on. So, question: Are you ordering only as much as the pre-order and a little bit more, or are you buying, like, what's the ratio of how much more product you're buying to like stock relative to how much of the pre-order that you got?
That's That one is a question I answer when I onboard new affiliates. Because I've got some gyms that have 20 members, got some gyms that have 500 or 600 members. So at that point, I'll ask them, what's your tolerance for an investment, and then I'll dial that order in from there. So if somebody can afford to invest $1,000, we'll just dial it in right there on the phone and tell them, okay, this is how many 2-pound chocolate I would order. This is how many 2-pound banana I would order, because it's not as many. Stay away from 5-pounders because you're investing twice as much money in one unit as opposed to doubling your units. So we get a lot more into the more advanced stuff, and because really the real key point in the early stages of retail is turning inventory. So if you have a limited investment that you can invest, buy as many units as you can of products you want to sell. When those turn, you're going to double the money of those units. And it's a lot easier to sell a 2-pounder than it is a 5-pounder.
Sure. So we place the order, we buy a little bit of extra inventory. And is my goal then as a gym owner to actually try to sell through 100% of it? Or am I trying to get enough to then leave some on the shelf for the next couple of weeks? Or is the idea like, hey, we want to basically wipe it out, and now it's like, oh wait, I really missed out, and hey, we're going to place another order? What's the angle for kind of now expanding? Well,
the angle from that approach is I wouldn't try to sell through all of it right away. Well, if you do, that's a good problem. Just whatever you do, order right away there. And actually, you want to under order a little bit because you want to create the mindset of scarcity. You want to run out of Barb's banana, because when she comes to you in those early days, you want to say, okay, great. You can use that as the next step. On this sheet here, it says rinse and repeat. And it's basically that. You can use that in the next step to where when you do need to place an order, you make that a party. Guys, I'm blown away. Holy crap. Can't believe how much product we've been moving over the last 2 days. Well, I have to place another order to get things in stock. Before I do, who needs some product? Here's a link to the website. Go out and read about it. Ask your coaches. Just make it, be excited about it. And then use that initial fire of, oh crap, I need to order some product, to go out, touch the membership and say, I need to order product. Who needs some stuff?
Love it. Cool. Anything else you want to add around the people who are new to selling? Buy
stuff that you use already. And offer it to your members. If you believe in it, if you take protein, regardless of the brand, if you take a protein or a creatine or something like that, and you think it benefits you as an athlete, it'll benefit your members as athletes also. So find an opportunity that will benefit you as a business to offer that. And that's one of the things you mentioned earlier about one of the mistakes, and I have a note here. You see is one of the problems. The early stages that people make with retail is poor product choice. To me, that's the biggest one. If you deal with shrinkage, that's just a matter of offering coaches, sell it to your coaches at cost or $1 over cost, so you're recouping your shipping cost also. If you're dealing with a lot of shrinkage and you're only running at a 35% profit margin, you've got to sell 3 to pay for the one that you took yourself. That's tough. You don't win in that. And then that comes down to poor product choice or availability. I still talk with gyms that are buying through Europa. If you're buying from Europa, you're in a losing game, guys. You're selling products that are sold in mass market, bodybuilding.com, and a lot of cases, their customers can buy products cheaper than you can sell it. So if you're a big fan of a specific product that is out there on the internet or something like that, dirt cheap, or you can buy it cheaper on web, just suggest your members keep buying it from there. I mean, if that's the product you believe. So that goes back to selling what you believe in. But you get into the mass market type products to where they're commoditized, and if you're not making a profit on it, it's not worth your time doing. And I know you guys do a great job with that. Is where you're spending your time, where you're spending your focus. Make sure it's valuable.
100%. One quick note on something you mentioned was the whole charging staff. Okay, this is a big one, right? Where people often burn through their entire margin just based on what they're giving it to it. Like, hey, you get one free bag as a staff member, or me as the owner, I'm going to at least get them for free. I always had a hard rule that even as the owner, I paid cost plus $1. I mean, literally, we did the math and what does it actually cost landed here? And that was I paid the same thing that my team paid, because there's no way that this is going to pan out if I don't at least cover the cost for that product to get here. And you will, especially if you're just starting with retail and you've got a limited budget, charge yourself at least the cost. So you don't have because you're going to take away the opportunity to invest in more product, like we talked about earlier.
Yep.
So make sure you charge yourself and staff, not just staff. Well,
and to your point, I mean, let's add to that. Let's go back to the initial thing of put your money where your mouth is, right? So if your coaches have to buy it and they do buy it, how much easier is it going to be for them to sell it to their members? Like, look, I buy this product myself. They're not promoting it because they got it for free. They're promoting it because that's what they take and that's what they buy themselves.
Yep, 100%. And no better way to sell it, by the way, than your staff taking what you sell, whatever it is, or using what you sell, right? Regardless.
That's your question of what's the best advice for getting. Like, there's no better way. If you take it, you'll sell it.
Yeah. One of the things we teach our clients is in designing their onboarding program is you want to assign topics of the day through the various days. So however many days you've got, we're going to figure out where the highest leverage talking points are for you based on what you do. And obviously one of those things for any new athlete is going to be nutrition. And so we give the basic nutrition talk, whatever you believe in. And then at the end of it, you can do like a quick Q&A and say like, hey, want to address a couple questions we get from a lot of our newer athletes. And like what I used to do is I would actually ask my own question, be like, oh, hey, Coach Marcus, so what about supplements? Or I would start with something else like, what about, a glass of wine every night? And I'd kind of explain why maybe that wouldn't be such a great idea. Or, hey, what about supplementation? Hey, great question. No, but seriously, guys, as you guys know, our industry is rampant with, supplements, and most of it out there, unfortunately, is pretty shitty. So, we have some really clean stuff that we stock here. You guys want to try it? And we would actually sample out and give them the samples while they're there. This is the same stuff that I take and all the other coaches here take as well. And no, Christina, no wine every night.
Hey, I'm with you, Christina.
Throw me off. And we would actually we would take a bag and we would sample it out and we would let everybody, do you like vanilla or chocolate? And we would literally hand them out. And just doing that little tactic of exposing it to them right when I know they're going to ask me, because I know within the first couple of weeks of any new athlete training, I get the question, should I be taking anything? And what should I be eating? And so we would create the automated content we would send about like basic nutrition, but I would also have the nutrition talk on day 2. And at that point, we'd then also mention this stuff. And it increased our average client value by about $20 because we made about $20 per bag of protein that we sold. And almost every new client who came in, because we would say, hey, and if one of the things that we see for people who are just trying to dial in their nutrition, even when you're starting to eat clean, is that they're usually not getting enough high quality protein. We all know that's true. And so we have some really clean stuff. You guys want to try it? I'll give you guys some samples. Everyone wants to try it. I always take stuff that I liked myself. So I say, this is the same stuff I have. And all the other coaches here take, love it. But up to you. Let me know if you want some. And we would sell on average 1 bag per member every month from implementing something like that. So if you combine your launch tactic, which is to really get the overall community into it, and you use something like this in your onboarding program, you're going to be able to really double down and condition your new people to try out your new stuff, trust that you guys have some good stuff here. Plus then you can, when you do your launches, actually now get the bigger purchases and whatnot placed.
Right. That's perfect, man. I wish I would have met you when you had a gym. we would have moved a mountain of product.
Yeah, we would have. But nonetheless, man. So, well, let's. Anything you want to share about for the person who's maybe already selling some product and how they can increase that? Any other like special pro tips or points you want to bring up before we get to Q&A?
I'll tell you. I started writing out the answers to those questions. There are a lot of them. It would be, I mean, well, we would have an enormous drop off because it would take about another hour to really get into it. Two things that I'll do as a takeaway on that is intentionally do a pre-sale. You can do this with a product that you've offered that's been in your system for a while. Like just drive up to pre-sale with an incentive. Tell people, you know, you get a free shirt, so that gives you a chance to get some branded marketing material out there on the streets, as well as maybe clear out some of your old inventory of shirts that you may have had. But drive it, and then drive hard for the first 7 days of the month, and just hit this thing over the head over and over again for 7 days. Every single coach talks about it before class. Guys, remember we're having a pre-sale. On the 8th, we're going to be ordering. There will be no more orders taken after that. So if you want to take advantage of this sale and this promotion, get on board. Every day, post about it on social media. And then again, every coach talking about it before every single class and then after. And if you want to incorporate that with a sample and give away some bro scoops, you know, so yeah, my favorite phrase. So, hey, bro, can I get a scoop? Right?
Love it.
So if you want to try a bro scoop, some pre-watt or something, maybe from Driven or whatever supplement company you're offering there at your gym, stop by that counter. We'll get you set up. So this will get people to. This will be a big shot in the arm for gyms. We had a gym that did this, sold over $8,000 in product in one pre-sale.
That's not too shabby.
No, that'll work, and that's an established brand that's been in there. So we all get stagnant, you know, whether we're working out or doing our diet or selling supplements. So giving something a shot in the arm to really get after it. So one of the things that we did is we built a pre-sale promotion through Infusionsoft for our gyms that actually creates a script. And if you want, I can create a form to where anybody in here can fill that out, and then you'll get those emails. And it just, this is not a lead magnet. When you get the emails, if it's something that you want to convert over and replace your brand, replace our images, by all means, go for it.
That's pretty cool.
I think last I checked, there are. Let me look here. I've got it pulled up. There's 11 emails in that sequence, and they're timed based off of when you and your coaches should be posting and mentioning it. So awesome. It's a great, you know, there's some guys out there that absolutely slaughter it when it comes to pre-selling shirts. These tactics work also for that. And this little sequence of newsletters that I have that go out are timed, so you can take that and copy it.
Awesome. Yeah, those of you watching, I would suggest you going and do that, because whenever you can get your hands on a tested campaign that's been mapped out, it's been refined, it has the content that works, take it, replace it with whatever you're selling, give it a shot. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. It's incredible what a well-mapped sequence can accomplish, especially if you're new to the game when it comes to automation and whatnot. Anyway, cool. Well, let's, if you're ready, Jason, let's go ahead and jump into our first question here. So let's see here. We've got one. Michael Vespa had said here, when we get to questions, I have a specific one for inventory management. So Michael, go ahead and add it to the comments here when you get a chance. And meanwhile here, I'll jump up to James. He says, we're just starting out at the end of the year. I want to order some t-shirts and hoodies for members to purchase, but sizing of members is unknown. How do I go about placing the first order so we have something early on for members?
Reach out to the company that you're going to order with, and order some sizes of the style of shirt that you want. There shouldn't be too many variations. You start giving too many variations or cuts of a shirt, people's decision meter is going to go off, and they're not going to be able to select something very easy. And another option with clothing especially is a lot of times they'll send out samples along with the order. So if you do a one-to-one, you can save some money sometimes, and apparel companies are pretty good about that. I know that Forever Fierce, even Matt Abrizio, I believe he sends out samples of the products that he has. So give that a try, get it in their hands, and then make a big deal about it before those samples land. Don't keep it a secret. I mean, you can build that excitement up for a couple of days, and then people will be asking, beforehand, the day before, the morning of, hey, did those products arrive? No, not yet. Do you want me to send you a message when they do? We've had people leave work to go to gyms when the gyms have announced that the products have arrived.
Sure. Yeah, we see it the same thing. If you're asking James specifically about apparel, any good apparel reseller or wholesaler will be able to give you average size runs. Like they'll say, hey, if you want to start an order, on average, you do 2 extra smalls to, like depending on your order, there's a ratio that they'll be able to give you. In my experience, we used to order, tens of thousands of shirts for Barbells for Boobs when with the annual campaign that we did. And obviously same logic applied to we used it at our gyms. And, again, you can treat it just like a pre-sale where you're going to be able to see what's the average size run that we're getting here and order a few extra if you want to do it that way. So, and I would say, James, use the same rationale that Jason just walked us through on creating a little bit of scarcity, and saying like, hey, we're going to place this order. We used to do this at Active, where we would design a shirt and we would do a seasonal run. So every season we would come out with like that season's new like male and female and maybe one accessory, right? So it's like, hey, for the holiday, we're going to do a new hoodie, male, female, and we're going to have a beanie this year, right? And so what we would do is we would get the design done, and I would order the sample ahead of time, and I would order enough for myself and for staff members so that we could try it on and we could start wearing it in front of people before it even showed up. People are like, hey, wait a minute, what's that? That's our new hoodie. Wait, are we selling that? Where can I get one? I don't see it. It's like, oh, they're still coming. We're going to be doing a pre-order here shortly. Right. And you could tease it in that way. And then you can literally go through the exact steps you just mentioned of, we're going to launch this thing. Hey, we've got, we're going to be placing an order. Order's going to be going out. You promote the crap out of it for a few days. Cutoff day is by this time. You place the order a little bit more, all the same things we just talked about. Then it comes in and people are seeing other people wearing the sweet new swag. They're like, wait, damn it, I really missed out. I actually want one of those. Hey, we're going to be placing another order. We had so many people who missed the bus the first time around. We're going to do another order, and you do the same thing. And now you can successfully do a seasonal run regularly and not have to just guess on how much product you're going to buy and be like, man, I hope I didn't spend too much and I'm going to sit on a bunch, because I've made that mistake before too.
Right.
Not promoting.
So here's one more thing that I forgot to mention that we've done a few times. We created a Google form of all of our products. So the Google form feeds to a Google sheet. So if you're selling shirts and you've got 2 different styles, men's, women's, and then the colors are the same, you only have the sizes from that point. You can create a Google form and make it easier. So instead of, hey, bro, texting you, hey, Marcus, give me a shirt, bro. Dude, just add it to this Google form right here, and then you create a manifest of orders, of members' orders. So yeah, I had forgotten that we had done that. We've got a few gyms that are out there doing really well using those pre-order sheets.
Yep, that's a really good point. I totally spaced on that too. So a trick you can have, guys. So we used to have an iPad set up at the front desk where we would have, we have the links to the various pages on our website, and we would have shortcuts on the iPad. So if we had a walk-in, I had my walk-in form and page on my website there. I had the new to CrossFit, the experience CrossFit. I had all those pages bookmarked on the iPad. So if someone came in, we could always just enter them in and automatically entered it into our Infusionsoft system. It was a really nice experience. But we did the same thing for a pre-order. So we used to just use a checklist. But like you said, the Google form, super easy. And now also I can take that link and send it and text it to people who are asking last minute, like, hey, just fill this out. I can't make it by the gym. Here, just put it on here. Fill this out. And you put the picture in there. You can make it look decent. I mean, it's not a very beautiful form, but basically it's like, hey, here's the size options. Choose your size options. It's a radio button option. Choose the color. Do you want blue or do you want red? And put your name, your email, and submit. And now you literally have an organized digital document on all of your pre-orders rather than just the piece of paper at the front desk. It's more scalable. Right.
Or one coach getting an order and not passing the information along to you, right?
Yep. Awesome. Cool. And I see a tip here from Christina Hurlbut here. She says, we add our apparel items for pre-sale into Wodify point of sale, and folks can go in and order during the open period. Brilliant. Yeah, very good. Cool. So let's go. Let me see here what we got. Next question is from Eric Klaus here. So it says, what would you recommend for somebody that doesn't have very much capital who wants to get started selling retail items like t-shirts and basics? Upland only selling $1 water bottles at the moment.
So if you, I'm going to step into driven shoes for a second, because this is just easier. T-shirts are tough because margin is so different on different products. So if you were to come to the table and ask me that question as a potential driven affiliate, I'd tell you to put about $125 on the table and light it on fire. Just order products. Order that many products. Order 3 2-pound proteins. Order a pre-wad, an amino, and a product called Disrupt. Bring those in. Use the steps that are on that 7 steps to building retail. Post about it again when it lands, and have that pre-sale sheet available. What you'll find is your $125 will grow to about $400 to $500 really quick. So take whatever amount of investment you're willing to put into it, and then start pushing. And then just consider that investment gone.
Got it. Thank you. Very good. All right. Let's see what we got here. All right. Next one is from Cody Ringel. It says, I'm sitting on a ton of women's tanks. Turns out that dry fit tanks were not a hot seller. Any ideas on how to push this inventory? Also, I currently offer supplements below MSRP. How do I raise those prices the right way?
2 good questions. Well, selling it below MSRP, most of our affiliates do. But since we're exclusive to affiliates, we have mapped pricing. So what that means is we sell on our website and on our Amazon store a little bit basically at our manufactured adjusted pricing. A lot of our affiliates will sell it underneath that price. And that way you can say, as an added value of being a member, I'm proud to be able to bring you these products at a discount. So selling below MSRP is a good thing because you're offering value. Depending on what that brand is, you may be having to do that because you're competing against big brands, the commoditized stuff out there. But you can combine those. So if you want to hit reset and go with a different brand, one option is take every one of those products, put them on eBay. I do not suggest, Marcus probably thought I was going to suggest adding the t-shirts as a benefit of buying the products you're trying to get rid of. And this, I guess, this will work if this is a brand you're going to continue selling. Just give one of those dry fits to any new member or someone that buys one of those products. If it's a product that you're wanting to get away from, take all that product and put it on eBay for 60 cents on the dollar. Do not sell that product into your market. You're peeing into your own pool. If it's a brand you're getting away from, why would you want to sell a product and create a customer for that company if it's not something you're going to be getting behind anymore? I've had that conversation a lot over the last 2 years, and a lot of times since companies have higher minimums, a lot of times companies, when they switch to us, they do have that inventory. So the best advice I've ever seen taken is dumping it on eBay. Get 60 cents on the dollar, flush the toilet with it, and move on.
Yeah, Cody, in my experience in having over purchased some product or having chosen something that didn't really sell as well as I had hoped, basically exactly what Jason was saying. I would give it away for new members because, again, they're just happy to get something. It's something branded. It's something represented. Even if they're not like, hey, it's not my favorite, it's actually to your favor because you're going to be selling the cooler stuff moving forward. And and just obviously learn from your lesson. Don't do that over and over again. Learn that, hey, I'm not just going to go and make an assumption on like, hey, I think these are really cool. I'm just going to go buy, a couple $1,000 worth of product. I hear that all the time, and then they're sitting on it, and it just ages in the back room. And now it's uncool. Maybe the style is out or whatever. So I would just say give them away to new members. And you can also do for example, like if you hosted like a friends and family week or something like that, you could say, hey, and for those of you who want to try us out, you can now include that as part of their trial or something like that, so they feel like, hey, I really got something out of this, or wow, they really over-delivered. But I would basically just try to get rid of them as quickly as possible. I would just basically write it off as a loss and just get rid of them, because you trying to like aggressively sell something that people aren't digging is a turnoff. It shows that you're not good at selecting product, and you'll do anything to just get rid of it. And that desperation stinks. So stop trying to sell it, just eat it and use it as a bonus for new signups, contests, you know, incentives like, or excuse me, initiatives like a free friends and family week where you're able to blow them all out in a week, or, you know, a Saturday, a community workout that you did, something to that effect. And just
here's something, I just heard it in the back of my mind. I hear this a lot with new affiliates is, well, I need to get rid of this stuff before I do something else, like those shirts. So if you have that mindset, if I've got these dry fit tanks, right, and I've got to get rid of them, so you're going to not sell new stuff you're excited about and that's fresh, until you can get rid of the old crap that you don't that nobody really wants. So you're better off just hitting reset right away and getting in the new exciting stuff that you think can move, because then you can start turning that inventory, generating that profit.
Yeah.
Waiting is a tough game.
Yeah, that's exactly why I was saying, just get it out fast, learn from your lesson and move on. These kinds of things just happen in business, and you just have to accept that this is par for the course when you are experimenting, you know, and part of learning how to sell product and whatnot is going to be, hey, you know, at first we get it right 50% of the time, and then we get it right 60, and then 70, and then 80, and eventually you really learn how to do it. You learn what works and what doesn't, and now you've got a successful system. However, don't assume you're going to nail it every time, and just kind of go into it with that expectation and knowing that, hey, that happens. And again, rip the Band-Aid off, get it out. And because speed of implementation when you're excited about something is so important. If you're psyched on it and it's new and it's fresh, figure out how to go get the money, because when you do it with the method that we're talking about today, where you're like, hey, we're going to sample this together. We're going to, like, you're not over investing, and you're taking the money that you make off of whatever that you're with that first pre-order, you're literally going to make your money back and then some. If you follow this formula, don't just do the like, hey, I think these will sell, and go spend $1,000. Instead, go buy a couple $100 worth, enough to do a solid sampling and to like try it out, or maybe to like buy a few shirts and pay. Maybe you end up paying $50 for a t-shirt to get the sample printed, but you're still able to wear it, and you're able to see if people are like, damn, that thing's cool, I want one of those. Right. Like, get it out in front of people first. And point I'm getting at is just move forward, move fast, get into something. If it's popular, or you think, or you're excited about it, make it happen. Right.
A bad idea that's been expensive is a lot more expensive the longer you wait to do something about it.
100%. Cool. All right. Question from Christina. She says, Jason, Marcus, thoughts on hosting educational seminars around supplement products to inform members about benefits, etc.
Those are great. They're hard to implement over time, you know, because as time goes on, you know, your excitement about it will wane a little bit. Your members will excitement about it will wane a little bit. It'll just become kind of part of what you do. So by introducing it early, you create part of the community and part of the process. So doing a sampling day periodically, as well as a seminar around those products, can be beneficial. It can be hard to implement. One of the things that we've done that gyms have seen success with is we create a nurture campaign for our coaches. We have a coaches newsletter along with the owner's newsletter. So about every 5 or 6 days, we drip an email to the coach talking about a specific product. So we kind of take them through an ascension process. So instead of doing here's a whole bunch of information about supplements, we drip it over a period of time where, you know, next week Marcus may get an email about aminos, whereas he just today got an email about casein. So that allows it to stay front of mind consistently. And over time, I've just seen having those touch points and keeping things fresh in your mind, your coach's mind, and your member's mind creates a lot more sales. But as things stagnate, those seminars and tastings do help. So I'd suggest doing both.
Yeah, seminars and like educational seminars, I think work really well for physical product like a jump rope or a wrist wrap. If like for example, if I'm trying to sell jump ropes, I would consider doing like a double under clinic and making that something so like jumping rope is front of mind for everyone and time those two together so that it's like, hey, we're all working on our jump ropes and it's like, hey, how much cooler is it when you've got your own jump ropes and you've got it sized perfectly, it's the right weight cable versus our like GPP jump rope rack over in the corner. You know what I mean? As an example, that's where I would see that work a little bit better.
Yep.
Cool. All right, next question here. Michael Vespa says or asks, what analytics are you using to track monthly and quarterly retail revenue, and how do you structure your retail budgets outside of pre-order format?
Wow, brother.
It's going deep. Pop the spreadsheet open.
It is. So we don't track any of that for gyms. We have a pretty, with the exception of the training, we have a pretty hands off. So this is probably going to be something that's going to be Marcus's wheelhouse beyond mine.
Yeah, I mean, hey man, this is going to get down to your. I would just create a spreadsheet and I would map out like, okay, how much product did I buy relative to how much did it cost me for the sampling, and I mean, figure out whatever your cycle is, and I would break it down, monthly, quarterly, how often are we doing our launches, and I mean, just map it out in a basic spreadsheet. This isn't going to be, there's no secret formula on this other than just tracking it and tracking all of it, right? So, hey, when we sampled this many products and at this much cost and investment relative to how much that turned into orders, that's literally what I would be looking at. Aside from the buzz and the reaction you're getting from people, I mean, you've got to look at the data at the same time. So just map it out in a basic Google sheet, track what you're doing, and see what the numbers tell you.
I think somebody just put a comment, what about Wodify or Push Press or any of the other gym software? I'm guessing that they probably have reports that you can run, put your cost of goods in, create an average sell price, and it'll tell you what the profit is. Yeah,
I think a lot of the billing systems are getting hip to, or dialing up their reporting a bit. That's been a major gripe of mine over the last many years. And it seems like they're slowly but surely kind of getting their shit together with reporting, although I still have a hard time pulling any sort of a decent report. I haven't tried pulling one for product and Wodify in a little bit, but I know they've recently updated. So hopefully that's better now. Let me see here. One more question from Eric Klaus says, thanks for the answer. What are some of the top companies to look into for supplements and t-shirts at wholesale cost? No bias here.
Well, yeah, bias. I'll give some generalizations. Going back to the beginning, if you're looking at a company that's discounted at your local retailer or it's on bodybuilding.com for dirt cheap, just let your members keep buying it from there and focus on something that you can do that can generate some money. From the standpoint of supplements in this space, 2 years ago, I probably would have said, well, there's SFH, there's Nutriforce. Nutriforce has been bought out by Vitamin Shop, so that kind of scratches that. Because if you create a market for them, you're just creating a market for Vitamin Shop in the end. There's us, Progenics. Every company has its strengths and weaknesses. I honestly don't know that much about any of those guys' products. So I'd focus on something that's known in your market, which is CrossFit. So take a look at the brands that are available within that, see what's the best fit, and then go for it. From t-shirts and wholesale cost, depending on, there's MDI apparel. Eli does a good job. Matt from Forever Fierce does an amazing job with affiliates. His pre-sale program is on point. Or, I know a lot of gyms that will print locally. So if you can get shirts anywhere between $8 to $12 printed, you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, I'll chime in on that too. When it comes to choosing products, where are you going to go for your supplements or your t-shirts? I mean, for me, I would be choosing first, what would I want to wear? What would I want to take? Right. So I would start there, and then I would see, does the math work? Right. So first, would I use it? Would I wear it? For example, a lot of the t-shirt companies will just to get you a lower price, right? To be like, well, you know, so-and-so charges 12 bucks a shirt. We only charge 8 bucks a shirt. But then you get the shirts and they're shit shirts. You're like, I wouldn't wear this. I'd pay extra for the higher quality shirt, and because I'm going to wear it over and over again, right? You know how good it is when you get a high quality shirt, as well as the printer. And really what I would be looking for when I contact these people, you know, to buy a sample, would be how much are they willing to help? How much do they understand what I'm trying to do? Right? Are they just aggressively trying to sell me as much product as possible? Or do they know the game that I'm trying to play, and are they going to help me win that game? Right? So I'll give you an example. If you're looking for apparel, right? So we've got Christina Hurlbutt does with Tag Swag. She puts a big focus on really working with the gym owners that she works with. She specializes in working almost exclusively with affiliates. So you're going to get someone who understands, and she's an affiliate owner. She runs a gym with her brother, and so you're talking to someone who actually understands the game that you're playing and is going to help you try to win. That's the same thing I like about you, Jason. That's why I've always enjoyed interviewing you, because you have the same perspective where you're like, hey, look, I want to help you achieve what you're trying to accomplish, because if I help you win, then I win, right? It's our same thing with our philosophy at Gymwright. You know, I want to help you win, because if you win, then we win. So that's really where I would be looking, Eric. Would be that I wouldn't necessarily just look into maybe or who's got the best prices, as much as who's gonna make this as easy for you as possible, and help you achieve what you're actually trying to get. All right, let me see here. I think that does it right now for questions. Yeah, let's go ahead and call it. I think we had some great questions today.
That's fun.
Yeah, any closing comments?
No, I don't. You know, thank you for putting me on and letting me kind of share the information that we've gathered so far. I hope that I did a good job of trying to keep this as agnostic and benign as I possibly can. So, no, that's great. Thank you, everybody who thanks for all the questions. That engagement helps a lot in conversations like this and keeping them going. So, thank you.
Yeah, no doubt. And you have, I know you said you had put together a checklist, or you're going to put together a checklist. Will you share that in the comments a little bit later, so that people can access it and actually get like a bulleted list of all the steps we talked about today? Sure.
Yep. Am
awesome.
I able to share it?
Right on, man.
Am I able to share it in this window, or will I need to go back through Facebook?
No, just go back through Facebook and add it to the comments. That way everyone can see it. Super easy to access. And anyone who was on the live today is going to be able to, they'll be notified that there was a comment. Okay, very cool. I'll share it up in the comments. And any questions from anybody, just tag me up. I'm glad to help however I can. Right on. Hey, Jason, you're a stud. Thanks so much for taking the time today and helping our group here. And have yourself a good one. Guys, we'll see you again next week. And have a great weekend. Thanks, Marcus. Bye. Bye.